for Coach Thacker. Rod?
You've faced a lot of injuries up, with your front four. How are the players adjusting to, maybe some increased reps now that they're a little short in some
they've had
positions?
Yeah, and we talked about some attrition there at the defensive line position. Why that development is so critical. Michael Lockhart is now no longer a true freshman. He's going back-to-back weeks where he's had real reps in the game. So guys like him that all the way through halfway in the season, he was down on the developmental team and never played it down in college football, is now a real guy in our rotation. So, that's why the program is designed the way it is, to continue to develop those guys on the opposite side of the field. And, there are no excuses. We've got to continue to develop. We've got to continue to play. We've got to continue to have next man up mentality. And those guys will go out and compete and continue to do it. But certainly let's get into week 10. College football, 2 bye weeks, week 12. Everybody in the country is banged up. We're no exception. So that's why you have to rely on depth. Unfortunately, again, we're very real about the above-the-line depth chart, about guys getting reps, about playing 25-plus players a game. So moments like these, those guys, that has to pay off as we move forward. Next question. Tori?
Red zone defense has kind of been a strength here recently. What kind of does that emphasis look like in terms of what you think the overall strength of y'all's red zone defense is right now?
Yeah, there's, we're not overwhelming anyone with any type of defensive statistics. Red zone is one where we're more towards the top and the bottom. It's hard to get them. A lot of times it's, if you just get a couple, you're towards the top of the country. People are so efficient down there. Probably the biggest separation between NFL and college football is the overwhelming trend is in college football to go for it for all 4 downs. Situations where people don't just take the points anymore, so stops down there at an unbelievable value. And then the other way that we do that, even when you open to field goal attempts, even if they make those, when we get in those moments, those can particularly be wins. The other thing we've got to do is we've got to help ourselves out. We've got so many defensive guys that are on special teams as well, but some of the short fields and getting them down there to make them earn drives so they're not starting so close to the red zone. As far as the emphasis of it, it's more of a mentality thing. The field becomes much less vertical, much more horizontal, so our scheme, our coverages do change up down there. We tighten up coverage, which is one of our strengths. Some of our DBs in those coverage pieces try to load the box to stop the run and be in competitive situations since they can't stress you as much vertically. So schematically, that's the change, and it's been a mentality thing where we have had some success. And whether it be blocked field goals or missed field goals, that's when you get your wins down there in the red zone. And the takeaways are at an unbelievable premium, but it's been more the missed field goal varieties that have helped us.
Since they switched to hooker quarterback, they've been undefeated. What are they doing differently now than they did before to come up with that change?
Being more efficient. They're not turning the ball over, and they're playing good complementary football. So the kid is a redshirt freshman, so like any of them, he's growing and developing. They've cycled through 3 different quarterbacks who they started the season with. He's probably towards the bottom end of the depth chart now. They have 2 dynamic runners, one even more so. But Booker, is that number 2? That's number 2?
Yes.
Okay. The jersey numbers, yep. Number 2, he's the starter now, played well versus Wake Forest. He's a dual guy. Not so much of a design quarterback run, but very efficient with his legs. Bryce Edmondson was as difficult of a tackle as he left the pocket than anybody. This kid is athletic, maybe not quite as much upper body strength to run through tackles as Bryce was, but efficient in doing that, and has the talent to make all the throws. As a redshirt freshman, he's getting more consistent, knowing where to go with the football and changing the velocities of the football. His deep throw was like his intermediate throw right now. He's just arm talent, but they played well with him at quarterback, and obviously they've been on quite a streak. I think they have confidence in their team and in that young man, and when he's healthy, they played well. So he presents a big challenge, throwing the football more efficiently, giving him plays where he can have success, and then he can beat you with his feet as well.
You went into the Virginia game having lost Antoine Owens, Caleb Oliver, and Chris Martin. How satisfied are you with the performances of the guys that stepped up in their place?
Yeah, so it's a difficult question, right? We always talk in terms of effort. How satisfied are we with effort? I apologize for us to continue to even talk about it, but it's ultimately what we're asking of them, and they're doing that. So satisfied in that way from a results standpoint of how many yards you give up, how many points you give up. Obviously, that is not the standard. I'm telling you guys anything that you don't know. We're competitive. We battled. Using shorthandedness and depth chart is an excuse, and we try to stay away from that. But guys are battling. That's the coastal division leader. We're in it. Obviously, the big piece of it you guys have already asked about, the touchdown at the end of the half. We get a 4th down stop, give it back to the offense with 1:21 left in the half, and they had too much success too quickly. Dave went down on the offense, changed around, scored so quickly. They went back down on the field, and then the long kickoff, and then 1 play later, Bryce got us on a quarterback draw. So you take that touchdown away, and you have momentum at halftime, and you think it's a completely different game. And then certainly another scenario, situational football, not getting off field, not getting an offense, not giving Dave one more chance for us to go win the game. So those are disappointing. Those are failures in those moments that we have to improve. We're competing, again, from a coach's perspective, from a outside the building perspective. Play hard. That's what we ask of them. Continue to run the ball. We have to tackle more efficiently with an efficient field. That's a tough question. It's a tough question. Are we pleased with our effort? Are we pleased with the mindset? Yes. Do we have to improve in so many different ways? Absolutely.
Follow up on that. One of the guys you did lose was Caleb Oliver. Not only is he a good playmaker, but he's one of those high-energy guys for your defense. But I guess you're fortunate enough to have a guy like Christian Campbell, who maybe be one of your more versatile guys back there. How did he look filling in that position?
Christian has turned into a senior. Again, one of our 2 seniors on defense. He has turned into one with his work ethic, with his example to the younger guys, with his selflessness. He is a safety by design. Again, we cross-train those guys all the way back into spring ball, from free safety to strong safety to the nickel position. So he was able to, in a couple of weeks, learn that position seamlessly. He just spotted that position, a couple of reps, and then he had to go in there with a heavy load. His backup, Wesley Walker, another true freshman, getting his first snaps on the defensive side of the football. So that nickel position really held up. And just a great example of Christian Campbell being a leader, showing maturity in those moments and being selfless, which is what we need. So he played at a high level, did not get exposed at that position, which is, for our defense, a 4-2-5 defense is one of the most critical, one of the positions that gets challenged more than any position on the field. And he really held up and played at a high level. So very proud of Christian.
Time for 1 or 2 more for Coach Thacker.
Andrew, I was asking Coach Collins about just guys learning processes and seeing results when they apply it. How close? 2-part question. How close is just everybody to getting to where they're doing things the way you want them to? But also, what's an example of? I wish more guys were doing this. You mentioned, we were talking about Trey last week about just the way he prepares. What are the things you like in practice or wherever that, here's the model and, we need more guys to get to that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's the biggest piece, the preparation piece. This place is challenging. This is one of the elite academic institutions in America. They're getting towards the end of the semester. No one in the stands really care about that when you get on Saturday. They want results-based. There's a lot put on these kids, and that's what's so impressive about them. That's why it's you care for them so deeply and so proud of all the things that they do as a total human being. But that preparation piece, back to your point, is the biggest thing that I feel like there was the gap that we had to teach them, what it takes to play at a high level, what it takes to know the plays before they're coming. We use Trace Willing as an example. I know coaches use Amari. In my room, we use David Curry, just somebody that's been through it, has maturity, knows how to prepare, does not overwhelm someone with talent. He out-prepares people in those moments so he can play at a high level. So to your point, that's a big piece. It has improved. Where are we at? We need to continue to improve. I think it's maturity. Mature young men have a way of having a process and understanding that, developing that. Youth, freshmen, as we're having to play so many young players, they have not had enough time to learn the emphasis of that. So, and then as we're trying to filling the gap of, not having many seniors, having older leadership. We've had to teach younger guys that have had to step up earlier, so there's been a gap in that we've had to improve. So to your point, I think kind of what you're asking is the correct answer. What was the two-parted one? I'm sorry, Ken.
I was asking about like how close are guys,
Yeah.
and like what's an example of, it sounds like it's mostly stuff that's done away from practice on their own.
It is, yeah, it is. And to be quite frank with you, the NCAA limits our official time, so some of those guys have an opportunity to come in and grab some wings and go to dinner, and they have to, we prepare something for them, a cup for them, practice grade sheets for them, so they can get their extra work and make sure that they're preparing in those ways. So that's the way that you're showing maturity and development, even outside of the framework of the time that they're allowed to be here. They're volunteering their time to come in as a group, and you've got guys, specific to my group. You've got David Curry saying, "Hey guys, come on, let's go get a little extra work in and prepare in these moments," and that's what it has to come to. When it becomes player-led and not coach-led, that's when you start to see results and playing at a really high level.
One more for Coach Thacker.